I just bought a video game lot for $2,200. So let's wait for the item to be shipped to me and take a look and see what we got. So here is the box that I got from Goodwill. Went ahead and took the label off, and I'm going to get the box cutter and open this and see what we actually were able to pick up from the Goodwill online store. So let's use the box cutter and get this open. Okay, so see that they packed it pretty nice for me, just to make sure everything wasn't damaged. But looks like my disc and everything are here, wrapped in neat packages. Some of this out of the way here. As you can see, there are a couple of stacks that are wrapped individually. So I'm gonna get everything unwrapped and on the table, sorted by whatever the console is. So let's get all this stuff out of the box and get it unwrapped. So it looks like there are 12 individual stacks of disc, and then the 13th stack is probably some games that were in the little mailers and things. So got that here. So I'm gonna get all of the disc out of here and stacked into their respective platform. So here's all the games out of the package. On the Goodwill page that I bought it on, it said 485 plus. So I'm just gonna say 485 just to be safe. Based on the math, if I sell each one of these for about $5 or so, I should be able to get my money back way more than the $2,200 that I paid. I've got them separated according to each of the systems, and I'm gonna go through them real quick and show you kind of what I picked up in this whole $2,200 sale from Goodwill. I'll start probably with the top first, which is PlayStation, and then I'll go through the Xbox, through Xbox One, and then Wii through Wii U stuff here. So let's look at the PlayStation games first. This stack here. I'll just grab a little stack here and go through these pretty quickly. Rugrats. Jet Moto has some value. Jet Moto 2 has quite a bit of value. Driver has a little bit of value also. Gran Turismo. And then I think this is what, X-Files? Yeah. Has a little bit of value. Bugs Bunny, I know does. There is another copy of Driver. NASCAR. Most of these will probably sell for about, like I said, $5 or so. Reloaded actually has a little bit of value on the PlayStation 1. Oh, I see NFL Blitz there. Spec Ops has some value. Triple Play. NFL Blitz is definitely some value there on that one. It looks like it has a little shield thing that I need to take off of the disc, but for the most part, NFL Blitz 2000 has a little bit of value. This wrestling game has some value too. Oh my goodness, let's see. Wow. Marvel versus Capcom. Now this is about a $70+ game just by itself. So definitely excited to see something worth my while in this stack here. So definitely excited about this game. Spyro. Anytime you see any Spyro games, they're gonna have some value. And I'm not sure Beyblade has any, but that's on PlayStation 1. Final Fantasy. Looks like that's just one disc, but I think there's several of them, several discs. Army Man. Siphon Filter. There's disc 1 and disc 2 right behind it. Tony Hawk has some value. Twisted Metal definitely has some value. So that's one I look out for. Destruction Derby has a little bit of value also. and Mega Man Legends. Wow, that's another good copy of a game that has some value. Another Spyro game, and then Tony Hawk Pro Skater 4. So a little bit of value in the PlayStation 1 games for sure. And then just selling the ones that don't have a ton of value for about $4 or $5 should, like I said, net me my money back. And I'll keep some for my personal collection, and the rest of them I'll sell. So this is a PlayStation 2 stack. Wallace and Gromit. Never heard of that particular game, but might actually try that one out. The Terminator. Probably keep this one for my personal collection. Never played that on PlayStation 2, so I'll probably check that one out. Rainbow Six. Not a ton of value so far. Okay, Burnout has a little bit of value. March Madness. NCAA. Alright, NFL Hits 2003. Definitely has some value. So from the makers of NFL Blitz and some of those other games there. Red Card. These are definitely has a little bit of value in them. Gran Turismo 4. Madden. Okay, Looney Tunes probably has some value there. Oh my gosh. Silent Hill 2. Another 70-ish plus game, maybe even more, for just this game by itself. So definitely excited about that for the PlayStation 2. Great copy of this Silent Hill game. So this game by itself sells for $50 at a minimum by itself for just a disc. So excited about that. So some great value here. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. And some more copies of Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Never heard of this game. Looks kind of cool. Might have to check it out. Straw Humans has some value. Armored Core for sure has some value. Anytime you see especially the older Armored Core games, they're going to have some value. Grand Theft Auto. Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragon Ball Z. Okay. Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. Definitely has some value. That was originally on the PSP and then ported it over to the PlayStation 2. And then another copy of Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. Okay, starting with the second stack of PlayStation 2 games. So far there's been quite a few games that have been $50 plus that I found. That's only going to increase me getting my money back. So I'm excited about those. Ace Combat. Not a ton of stuff here, sports titles so far. That Namco Museum may have a little bit of value. Guitar Hero 5. Not sure what this is. Looks like maybe... Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd say looks like reminds me of like a Ratchet and Clank game, but I'm not sure because the label is kind of torn off there. AFL Street 2 for sure has some value. Call of Duty. AFL Street 3, Volume 3. Has some value for sure. Excited about that. Anytime I see games like that, the arcade style sports games, those are always going to have a little bit of value. Need for Speed Most Wanted. I'll tell you, Need for Speed Underground on PlayStation and Xbox are still one of my favorites, the originals. Okay, this one has some value on it. Rock Band for the PlayStation 2. Okay, Simpsons Road Rage for sure has some value. And I see Jack and Dexter. Those have value also. So, 2 ones right there back to back that has some value in them. And then Grand Theft Auto 3. So, quite a few games in here that have value so far. Let's move on to the PlayStation 3 and then the PlayStation 4. So Call of Duty. Okay, Legos. Keep the Lego games for the most part have value, especially the Harry Potter and all those. Just breeze through these pretty quickly. They don't have a ton of value, or at least as far as I know. If you see something that has value and I skip it, just comment that below. NCAA, any of the NCAA games for the most part have value, especially the newest ones before the remake. Okay, Tour has some value. Okay, so I've never heard of the Bourne series games, so I'll probably have to keep this one for my personal collection, but I would assume this has a little bit of value. Okay, this Cabela game looks pretty cool. I'll probably keep that one. Never heard of it. I don't normally keep Cabela games, but I'll probably keep that one. And I know the 007 games have some value, and those are pretty fun on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. That Guitar Hero might have some value. Grand Theft Auto Sonic Generations has some value. And as you guys see here, of course, that these games here that we're going to get to has some value that you can see already. Okay. God of War has a value. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 has some value. Sonic the Hedgehog. So this one actually has some value for sure. Clash of the Titans. Never heard of that particular game, but I'll probably keep that one for my personal collection, but has some value there. So far, so good on these games. Call of Duties, those always sell pretty decently. They'll probably sell for about $8 or so, $8 to $10. NBA Jam has some value. Oh man, Silent Hill Homecoming, and that is definitely one that has some good value. Any of the Silent Hill games, for the most part, are going to have some value. And I just see in my hand here, Captain America, another game that is worth quite a bit of money. So excited about those two games right there by themselves, because though that's $30 or so per game, maybe even more. All right, so those are all of the PlayStation 3. So a couple of them in there that are worth quite a bit. So there are a couple of games that I found so far that are worth about $50 plus. And just selling those alone should be able to get me a few $100s, maybe more. So moving on to the PlayStation 4, and then we'll cover the PlayStation 3 that are in the little pouches here, in the little paper sleeves. God of War 3 for the PlayStation 4 remastered. Horizon, great game. This is the play disc, so I would assume there's another one hopefully in here. If not, then just have that one. Batman, Minecraft, Farming Simulator. Okay, so it looks like these are all sports titles here. Oh, Grand Theft Auto 5. And then the show. So not bad on the PlayStation 4. Not a ton of value in those like some of the other ones, but definitely a couple in there that has some value. Now these PlayStation games that are in the sleeves, these Uncharted games don't really sell for a ton. Okay, so the Infamous games do. So just as long as we have at least both of these, which we do. So got two copies of those. So Infamous 1 and Infamous 2, same Infamous 1 and Infamous 2. So definitely should be able to sell those. Those have sold well for me in the past. Moving on here to the original Xbox. Never heard of this game. Comment below, like I said, and let me know if some of these games have value, because I'm not 100%. This one should have some value. Superman Returns. Okay. NBA Street Volume 2 has some value for sure. Like I said, any of those games that are arcade style are going to have some value. Moving on here to the Xbox 360. Gonna break this stack up a little bit here. Nothing that's catching my eye as of yet that's super valuable. Dragon Ball may have, I've never played any of the Dragon Ball games, but might have some value there. You guys comment below and tell me if they do. Call of Duty 2 and Call of Duty 3. This is the second disc of Rage. Or Halo 3. Oblivion. Left 4 Dead 2, which is actually a great game. Call of Duty. Minecraft actually still sells pretty well for the most part. So a few copies of that, looks like. Grand Theft Auto. So this is the installed disc. So hopefully the play disc is in here. Yep, sure it is. Gears of War. Haven't seen a ton of valuable games on the Xbox 360 yet. Wow. As soon as I said that oh man, I hadn't seen a ton of value in the games. Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Again, another $50+ game for just the disc alone. So excited about that. Wow, that's a great one. So just as I was saying, oh man, there's no real valuable games in the Xbox 360. I see that Spider-Man game. So, okay, that's the first stack kind of done. Moving right through these pretty quickly. I don't want this video to be a ton of time. Go through them really quick. Break some of these up. This looks like Forza. Like I said, for the most part, I'll try to stop if I see some that are valuable. And please comment below and tell me if you see something that I miss, because I know a ton of them have value, but sometimes I skip over some that may actually have value that I'm not familiar with. So if you see something that I pass over, and please let me know. I think that Rock Band has some value with it. Sonic Free Riders, not sure about that. It might have something. Some sports titles. Lost has some value for the Xbox 360. Dead or Alive 5 has some value. And Guitar Hero had some value. Grid Gun has some value. And that's it for the second stack of Xbox 360 games. So, almost done with the Xbox systems. Here is the last big stack, except for the Wii games. So really excited about that Spider-Man game. Guitar Hero Metallica game has some value. Forza 2 bonus disc, which I have that. I might try to pair this with one of those. It has, hopefully, has a little bit, adds a little bit more value. There is the third disc of Rage. And then Minecraft, some value there. Marvel Ultimate Alliance has some value. Naruto, I think has some. Grand Theft Auto, there's another play disc. So I've been noticing that there's a bunch of play disc and install disc kind of mixed in throughout these. Not sure what this is. Maybe, oh no, I see it. Halo. See, there's another disc. Oh, okay, there we go. So this actually is Grand Theft Auto 4 and episodes of Liberty City. This one actually sells pretty well for me, even with the disc by itself. So put quite a bit of value in there. It's about a $15+ game for me. To You Human. Like I said, those Grand Theft Auto disc or 5 disc are kind of sprinkled in here throughout. Ace Combat, Transformers for sure has some value. Transformers game. College Hoops actually has some value because they stopped making those. And then this wrestling game has some value. Call of Duty 2. Getting a little bit of the sports titles here. Okay, Red Dead Redemption still holds a little bit of value. Okay, so that is the last stack of the PlayStation, or that's the last stack of the Xbox 360 games. Moving on to the Xbox One. The Handsome Jack collection has some value. I think the rest of these sports titles. Watch Dogs has a little bit of value in it. Lego games kind of keep up with the pace on value. Call of Duty. Grand Theft Auto still holds a little weight. Never heard of Troll and I. Never heard of that. Might have to check that one out. Harry Potter, for sure, one that is valuable. Call of Duty. Call of Duty 4. And another sports title. So that's it for the Xbox One. So moving on here to the Wii games, Nintendo Wii. Not a ton of value that I see so far. Okay, Wii Play. And if I bundle that with a controller, it has some value there. Big Brain Academy has some value. Monkey Ball Banana Blitz. Animal Crossing City Folk has some value. Okay, the Mario and Sonic games for sure they have value. There's another Mario and Sonic summer games. Mario Party 8 has some value. Okay. This one, so here we go. We're starting to get into a little bit of value here. The Mario Sports Mix has some value. Okay, so all of these. So let's count these. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then probably 7 there. It's good value. So these sell for about $20 or so. Same with the Mario Kart, especially if you have a wheel bundled with it, which I do. I have several steering wheels that I can bundle with these. Should sell for about $20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. So pretty good stack. Oh, okay. And here's WarioWare Smooth Move. So definitely another great game. Never heard of this one either. All right, moving along here. Almost done. Okay, moving on to the second stack of Wii games. Never heard of Counterforce. If you guys know any of these, let me know. Like I said, please. Wheel of Fortune, Deal or No Deal. Those are definitely games that I probably want to try out. May not have a ton of value. Okay, here's a game that I want to try out that has kind of some board games and stuff. Family Game Night. So not a ton of value in this stack in particular here. Looks like the other stack had the majority of the games that are valuable. Well, okay. Again, I always kind of discount some of these games, and then sure enough, this Trauma Center game has some value. Okay, so that is it on the Wii games. Moving on to the Wii U. Sonic game has some value. New Super Mario Brothers Wii U and Luigi Wii U. So that game has some value. It's sold well for me in the past. Minecraft. And then Just Dance, and then Madden. So not a ton of games for the Wii U. And then this is, let's see, just a disc. So should be able to sell that one pretty quickly. Bash Pro Stop. So it looks like you use the Wii remote. And then this has a couple of demos on there. Link's crossbow training. It's pretty fun. And then Chicken Blaster. Never heard of this game. Looks like it could be fun, like a little party game for the Nintendo Wii. And then last but not least, I wasn't really sure about this. I think this might be something that goes with a PlayStation 3 game, but it is bonus content for the Prince of Persia game. So it's a limited edition one, and it's a DVD. So I think it probably either goes with the PlayStation or the Xbox 360. So that's it. 485 games for $2,200. And as you saw, there are some really high value games that are sprinkled in here that I should be able to get about $200 to $300 for, maybe even more for just those games, like the Spider-Man game, Silent Hill, and some of the other ones that were here, like the even Captain America, and some other games that are kind of sprinkled in here. So it's got maybe about between 5 to 10 games that are about $50 plus for just those 10 games or so. And then had a bunch of copies of New Super Mario Brothers Wii, Mario Kart, and things like that that have some value. Should be able to sell those for about $20 to $30 a piece. But comment below and tell me what you think. Pay $2,200 for this. Definitely a little bit more than I typically pay, but all of these games for the most part are going to have some value, and the ones that don't have value, I'll kind of probably bundle them together with either some consoles or things like that. But comment below and tell me what you think. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Thank you for watching, and let's level up.